Yo, what up? It's your boy Shipwreck back with another sports talk video. Today we're talking about All-Star SNUBS, NBA edition. So the NBA starting roster for the West is going to be LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Steph Curry, the Joker, and Kawhi Leonard. And for the East, you got Kyrie Irving, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Joel Embiid. And as far as the NBA reserves go, for the West, you got Donovan Mitchell, Damian Lillard, Paul George, Chris Paul, Zion Williamson, Anthony Davis, and Rudy Gobert. And then for the East, you got Ben Simmons, James Harden, Nikola Vucevic, Julius Randle, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Zach LaVine. One of the biggest starter versus reserve snubs that people are talking about is Damian Lillard and Luka Doncic, but I personally don't have a problem with Luka starting over him because Luka has better numbers in almost every category except for three-point percentage. The only reason people say Dame, I guess, is because he's on a better team and because he's been disrespected for a lot longer. Luka's younger, but being younger doesn't mean you can't be better. Now, the first dude I want to talk about is Trae Young, which last year was an NBA starter for the All-Star game, and this year did not make the game at all. He's averaging 27 points a game, which is like 11th in the league. He's third in assists at 9.6 per game, and rebounds is like 4 per game. But he's a small little one guard, so you don't really expect him to get a lot of boards. But honestly, I would take out Ben Simmons and replace him with Trae Young. Trae Young averages more points per game, 27, where Ben only averages 15. Averages more assists, 9 to 8. Less rebounds, but to be expected because Ben's a huge-ass one guard. The only problem with Trae's game is he has a pretty low field goal percentage, so he takes a lot of shots, where Ben is way more efficient that way. Also, Ben is on the better team, so a lot of people are going to stick with Ben because of that reason. I personally would have picked Trae, but I have no real big problem with this snub. It's whatever. Starting in the East with the biggest snub that people have been talking about is Sabonis. That people were thinking Sabonis over Julius Randle. Honestly, they have pretty much identical numbers. One has a little bit more rebounding, one has a little bit more assists. I would say that Julius Randle is more important to his team because Sabonis has Brogdon to work with, where Julius Randle is pretty much the star on his New York Knicks team. So honestly, you're just splitting hairs with that. If it comes down to fan vote, media vote, whatever, I say just give it to Randle if he got the votes. Now, the biggest and most controversial snub is probably Devin Booker. Devin Booker probably should have got in over Donovan Mitchell, depending on what you take in for what kind of criteria you like to use. They have identical points per game. Donovan Mitchell has a little bit better assists and rebound per game, but Devin Booker shoots at a way higher percentage than him. The biggest reason I would say is because Chris Paul made it. Chris Paul is pretty much dominated every team he's been on. If you look back when he played with Houston Rockets, him and James Harden were up 3-1 on the Warriors till Chris Paul got hurt. He was leading that team. Gets traded to an Oklahoma City team that doesn't really have a lot, was trying to tank. Leads them into the NBA playoffs as like the 4 seed. Chris Paul has always done it, even way back to New Orleans and Lob City with the Clippers. Chris Paul has always been a very dominant force in the league. So now that Devin Booker finally has a winning record and can make the playoffs, it seems to be because Chris Paul is on his team. So I understand why people would slight Devin Booker for that. I also do, because I'm a huge Chris Paul fan and I believe that he's the reason that team is that good. Devin Booker is really nice, but Donovan Mitchell just does a lot more. I feel like he's already at his ceiling. Devin Booker probably has more room to grow and get better. So Devin Booker is probably a future All-Star, where Donovan Mitchell is probably at his peak. Another guy that people could probably take out of the All-Star game is James Harden, which sounds crazy considering he's a multiple-time MVP. But he only played 19 games this year. And when you compare that to other dudes in the league who played 36, 37 games, it's only half as much. So he gets in off star power and just the fact that we know that he's a dog. Other than that, I don't really have a problem with the All-Star starters or the reserves. I think they did fine. But there's only so many spots left, so it is what it is. And a lot of people, they're going to say, oh, this guy was snubbed, this guy was snubbed, DeRozan was snubbed, this guy was snubbed. But honestly, they're not really snubbed if the player that's in before them is like, who are you going to take out? Like, you're going to take out a Jason Tatum, a Jaylen Brown, a Zach LaVine. I'm not taking out any of those guys for DeRozan. Even though DeRozan is an animal, he just doesn't have the numbers and the productivity this year. The biggest way that they could probably fix the All-Star voting is if they made if they made it no conferences, so like people like Sabonis could get in over Ben Simmons, even though they play different positions, I guess. If you do have a problem with some of these guys that are interchangeable, drop a comment. Let me know who you think should be in and who should be out. And that's it for this video. Shipwreck out. These toxic Eagle fans, man. Kirk Cousins is top 10. You know what I'm saying? Justin freaking Jefferson, baby. Tim Brady got 7 rings. Luka Doncic is a future MVP and future NBA champion.